Good
Good morning! I had to bring it back. We used to do that every day.
And a very happy Flex Friday.
I wanted to make it feel like espresso because people say, "Are you going to do espresso again?"
It is espresso.
This is espresso. So
This is espresso.
So cheers to you on this Friday.
We are doing espresso, and if you're new to our community, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Can I start?
Yes.
If you're new to our community, very welcome. Very, very much welcome to you. And we are grateful to have you here. And I think that we are all blessed. I think that we are all blessed that you made it here. You, because some amazing things are going to happen in your life. In this community, you've never seen anything like it. So you got to stay plugged in, you got to stay in tune, and you got to engage, and you got to show up and be present and visible and ask your questions when you have questions. And if you have been around for a little while, then you are the inspiration to those people who are new, who are coming in. And we are blessed because we get to help get closer to fulfilling our mission of transforming the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours. One of the reasons why the OGs in this community will tell you, by the way, OGs drop an OG, newbies drop a newbie in the chat, in the comments. And we're going to say hi to you in a second.
Should we introduce ourselves for the newbies?
We're going to say hi to you in a second.
Okay.
Okay? Here's the deal. The reason why the OGs will tell you that this is very different is because we are really, really real.
True.
And I think there's a pretty big void in society with realness, especially within the last couple years. But I want to let you know that you're going to get realness for a couple of reasons. One, it's really hard to pretend to be somebody that you're not. So I don't want to try to do that. Sri doesn't want to try to do that. Number two, it is a breath of fresh air when you can find a community of people who will just keep it real. And number three, it's important for you to see that we are human.
Mm-hmm.
And what is displayed from us is truly us. Whether it's a good day, a bad day, a stressful day, a hopeful day, an exciting day. And so I just want to say that first of all. And my name is Erin.
And I'm Sarit.
And for anybody asking, yes, we're married. Apparently one of the top Google searches for us is Erin and Sarit, a couple. Yup. Okay, so good morning to our TikTok homies. What up? You guys want to see Facebook? They're right here. You guys want to see each other? Okay.
By the way, if you're watching us live on TikTok and you haven't yet joined our 5-day free transformation Kickstart challenge that starts on Monday, make it a point to do so. Click the link in our bio or just go to www.erinandsarit.com/TKC. And okay, I see a lot of familiar faces.
Yes. What's up, Mo?
Ashley Wise,
Lori,
Guile,
Tammy, Tanya, Erica, Jennifer, Naomi, Audrey, Lisa,
welcome, Lisa.
Colleen, Noob, and B.
Welcome, Colleen.
Donnie, Amy, Sarah. What's up, Oxman? Been a minute.
Great to see you guys. Great to see you guys. So,
Do you want to know why I said that? All of that beginning stuff.
why?
Because I'll be honest, guys. Today is Friday. Surprise. And today is the day that we do Q&As. And we plan to do a Q&A. But today, the minutes before turning on the camera, Erin did not feel like doing it. I didn't feel like it.
Like doing Q&A? Oh,
I didn't
like
want to. I was fussy.
She was fussy, you guys.
I was being extra.
Who in here has ever seen Erin being extra?
I was fussy. I was irritable. I said, "Oh, turn this damn thing on. Did this phone work? How did the phone work? Go." I said, "I better get a good attitude. People are watching." But here's the thing. Okay, so I want to share that because this is my stand-up. I want to share that because there's a couple messages in here. For one, we don't always feel in like, whatever, roll with it. We don't always feel like doing the things that we know we need to do. But we know that when we do them, we'll be better for it. The other lesson in that is there's so much power in having control of your mind and your state. And when you have the ability to turn it around like that, that is powerful.
Yeah.
That is powerful. And so that's something that I, wanted to challenge myself to do this live because I'm going to turn it around. And then the other piece of it is that when you know you're working towards something that is worth it, you set your feelings aside sometimes.
Most times.
And I want you guys to know that you actually make me happier. So like literally the minute that I turn it on, I'm like, okay, what just happened? Forgot about it. And it's all good. So that is a testimony to surrounding yourself with people who inspire you. You guys inspire us. I don't know if you know that. I've said that before, but you guys inspire us literally to show up every day. We know that the information that we share, the experiences that we've had in life, what we've done over the last several years on this mission are extremely helpful to thousands of people. Shame on us for being like, I don't feel like it, because you would suffer at that point. So it makes us happy that it is our duty and obligation to show up and be the best that we can, and inspired by you to do that some days, especially now. So I just want to say thank you.
We love you guys. Shall we get to Q&As?
Yeah, do you have them?
No, I tried to figure out how to pull it up. I need a training on that. Can you create a process?
No, me too. You have to look in your email and search LDub's email and find the link.
Okay, so maybe you show me where that is, and
Whoa.
then I can put together a thing.
Joni's here. What's up, Joni?
Yeah. Okay, let's pull up the questions.
Okay, well, it's going to take me a minute.
Oh, yeah.
What, do you want to say something to entertain
or just,
them?
Can you tell me where to
I
go?
have to think. It requires thinking. So
something
you need to
else that I want to share with you guys. So for anybody who's new coming in, we're super glad to have you here. And on Monday, we're going to be sharing with you when we started TKC, our story and what we used to struggle with, and like everything that we've overcome, and like why are we doing what we do. And by the way, I want to give a huge shout out to our incredible team. You guys are gonna, some of them are already on the page right now, but you guys are gonna see them popping on the page. You guys, we want to see you guys win. I just want to say that. And today, after the Q&A, we're also going to be sharing tips for anybody who's new, who's coming in, especially as we started TKC. Like, if I was to like give you a pep talk, like I want you to do those three things. And if you were to do that, you're gonna make the most out of the TKC. However, I'd like to wrap up today's conversation with those three tips. So why don't we get to the questions?
Got 'em!
Woo!
All right. First question is from Amy Gillespie. When you're in a bind, is it better to skip a meal or eat the junk that's available? Great question.
That is a great question. I actually
Great
had
question.
a conversation about. Well, I thought at first when you said when you're in a bind, I'm like, ooh, yoga. I'm like, that is more of an Erin question because she gets herself in binds.
Man. And whenever she says yogis, I'm like, I'm not a yogi.
Yeah.
Yogis. I'm just
Do you
flexible.
skip a meal or do you eat junk? So this is a great question, and here's the deal, you guys. The ideal situation is not to do either. Ideally, what you'd want to do is you'd want to plan and prepare so that those situations will happen as least frequently as possible. I share that with you because ideally you want that to be your standard. Your standard should not be to skip meals. That's not a good thing for your body. Like your body needs nourishment, right? It's just like if you're pressed for time, do you just like, not sleep at night? No, that's not ideal. Like your body needs sleep, right? So the same thing, like like your body needs nourishment, right? And ideally, you want to put in your body things that are going to serve it, not crap. Like let's say, when your car runs out of gas, like do you put diesel in it even though diesel is not the fuel it takes, or do you just let it,
If diesel's the only thing available.
right. Like it's not going to work well, right? So ideally you want to plan and prepare for that, because if you want to live a high performing life, like a high octane life, you want to give your car, aka your body, your machine, like high octane, like as often as possible. So that is the main point.
If you're driving the Back to the Future DeLorean, you can use garbage and banana peels and coffee grounds for fuel.
However, let's say you are traveling cross country, and let's say you did everything to plan and prepare, and you brought an igloo with food that should last you for 7 days.
What's an igloo? For those that don't know.
An igloo is the thing where you can keep food.
An igloo is a house for Eskimos made out of ice.
Okay, so how do you call that container?
I think the brand is Igloo. That's why you're calling it Igloo.
It's
a cooler.
That is so American of me
It's a
to
cooler.
call something by a brand.
You have to.
I'm so inspired. Like
you have to wear your Nike.
Yeah, right.
Hurry up and put on your Nike. Okay, it's just a cooler. It's a cooler.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think most people.
So
know
let's
it.
say you're traveling cross country. Okay, I want to give you guys worst case scenario because your standard should be to never get into that situation. However, let's say you're traveling cross country and you prepared a cooler with enough food that should last you for 7 days. However, let's say like out of nowhere there was a snowstorm and you got stuck for 2 extra days. And now you're in the middle of Timbuktu, Nebraska, and you're like, shit, I ran out of food. I could walk 1 mile to the nearest McDonald's, or I could just like not have anything. Like, what would I do?
Can you Uber Eats to your own car if you're parked somewhere?
Probably.
I bet you could.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So I would go to that store, that McDonald's, and I would get the best thing out of that menu.
If McDonald's sold hot dogs, you could legit order a McWiener and supersize it.
Oh my gosh. That is such a brilliant idea. McWiener.
It's Friday, my peeps, and my hair
And the
is
supersized one would be called the Magnum. Magnum wiener.
the McMagnum wiener. My hair
This
is
is
trying
to all of
to be.
our
This is a
12-year-olds. We're probably scaring away all of our newbies.
this is a sexy hair Friday. Look at. Do you see my bang?
This is so 12.
Do you see my bang?
What was the name of that show? I think Sabrina was.
The teenage witch.
Yeah, Sabrina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she
had the
had
cat?
those like two little things. And everybody in 6th grade did that shit. I'm
Okay,
like,
this is no longer Q&A Friday. This is Fuck Around Friday. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Welcome to Fuck Around Fridays. I'm your host, Aaron, and this is my superhero sidekick, Sarit. Because I think your name shows up on subtitles, Sasit.
S.I. Sirit?
No.
Whatever. Okay.
Anyways.
So that is what I would do,
We
Amy
will answer
Gillespie.
the
That is a great question. However, make your standards be to always be way prepared in advance.
In the case that you're not prepared, though, depending on the shittiness of the food, would determine whether or not I skip the meal or eat it, right? So I want to answer the actual question and not just with an ideal. If this is an unideal situation, then what, like, if it is going to make you feel worse than you would if you were to just skip a meal, then just skip. It's not the end of the world if a meal gets skipped every once in a while, right? You guys have to understand, it's not what's done every once in a while that puts you in the place that you're in. It's what you do consistently over time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with eating junk. Okay, let's say, the only option that I see available is, some kind of granola bar, and that's not an ideal option for me, but it's not really like the worst thing in the world, then, and let's say you're not going to be eating for a while, okay, but, it's a gray area because it depends. If the only option that I have is a fast food option, I'm going to skip the meal.
Mm-hmm.
So just depends. But if it's not that bad, depending on how much time I know I have before the next time I eat, will also be a determining factor in whether or not I would skip that meal or just eat it.
Yeah.
But as your standards raise too, the more likely you would be to skip it than to eat it, I would say.
See, I read the Amy Gillespie's comment, so I got sidetracked. You guys, I can only do one thing at a time. So I went like whoop over my head.
Yeah.
Missed the train. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. All right.
Hi, you wanna come say hi to everybody? Real tie today.
All right. We have a good amount of questions here.
Let's go.
Food question. Do you count marinades when cooking? Good question. This is from Jen Brumley. Brumley. Like if I marinate chicken and then remove said chicken and dump out the liquid, would I still count the marinade ingredients as me eating it? Also, corn and bananas. This is 2 questions.
Okay, let's
Jen.
answer marinade question. So for one, when it comes to marinades, most marinades have crappy ingredients, so I would just be careful what's in those marinades. And the reason I share this with you is because based on the quality of the marinade, my answer would be different. Like for example, like most barbecue marinades have a shit ton of sugar in them. Like for example, if you pour a whole bottle of barbecue marinade, like in a thing of chicken, like
Stubbs. Is that one brand?
Stubbs that's one brand. Like depending on how much sugar is in it, like I will, like count it. However, most of the time it is trace. Okay, now that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take that into consideration to make sure that you're on point with your traces. go for the best marinades possible. Okay. Do you want to read the other questions?
I'm reading their comments about the McWiener.
I think that was the favorite part of today so far.
They circle back eventually. It's so true, Brooke. We do end up making it around. Okay. So yeah.
So she said, I make my own shit, but I don't buy no grocery store garbage. So I would mark it as a trace, honestly.
Yeah. Unless it's a part of a sauce that you're eating with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Corn and bananas, are they healthy foods to consume, or are they a treat only every once in a while? Thanks for your help. I like how you snuck 2 questions in there, Jen. Corn and bananas. Okay, first thing I want to ask is, have you ever been discouraged from eating a fruit or a vegetable because it has too much sugar? I want to know in the comments. What fruit or vegetable have you been discouraged from eating because you heard that there was too much sugar in them?
Yeah.
Okay, now Daisy's here. Sup, Daisy?
So
Yep.
can we go back to the so the question was
Corn
if
and
it's
bananas.
healthy. Look,
Or is it only a treat every once in a while?
corn and bananas are healthy. Let's just make it a point. Now, just because something is healthy doesn't mean that it is in alignment with everybody's
Why is
goals.
corn and bananas healthy? Why are corn and bananas healthy? How do we determine that?
It is a real food, you guys. Like, it came from Mother Nature. Like, food that came straight out of Mother Nature. Like, you're never gonna hear about that. Oh, like, you know how, like, in the news, like, before there's, like, they get
Did
to
you
it,
ever,
like,
Jan gained 20 pounds because she ate too much corn on the cob?
no, or Heather got a heart attack from eating 3 bananas a day for a year. Like unhealthy food is food that like compromises your state of living, right? So like bananas and corn are healthy. It's just that, you know, it is a faster release form of carbs. So I think what you're trying to ask, and you know, we know you're very serious about your weight loss journey, you know, like, is it okay to eat like banana and corn if I want to lose weight? That is a completely different question than is it healthy? Because, for example, almond butter, it is a health food. Now, just because it's a health food, if you eat an entire jar, that don't mean that it's going to help you lose weight. So, like, completely different story. However, I get what you're saying.
Even for weight loss, though, like people get so tripped up because they get on these tiny details like, oh, I can't have a banana or I can't have corn because I'm trying to lose weight. It's not going to prevent you from losing weight. You can always make a good thing bad. You could have a fried banana. You could have corn syrup. Those 2 things are very different, and your body does not see them as the same thing. So if you're talking about just straight up like corn from a stalk from the farm. My dad had a wicked garden.
Did he?
When I was a kid. That whole back behind the fence and
They
those
now
bushes.
have blueberries, right?
No, that's before the bushes. Behind that, where my dad's shop is, you know that building that's like in the back? All of that, like tomatoes, green beans, rows of corn, pumpkin, squash.
That's so
like,
awesome.
They like grew so much stuff, and we would run through the rows of corn, and my dad would get pissed.
I would do that.
And we would like throw shit. I'd be in one row, and like Scott or Adam would be like in another row. We'd like throw shit across. Man, being a kid. Oh wait, nothing's changed. But you know, if you were to just like take off an ear of corn, boil it, and then eat it off of the cob, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's totally fine. I would recommend? So look, when it comes to faster release carbs like bananas and corn, especially as you get a little bit more advanced into your weight loss journey, you know, and things and the rate at which you accelerate is slowing down. That's going to happen. It's very normal, and that's okay. You know, like based on what you did before, just, you know, incrementally start decreasing it. So like, for example, if you used to do like 2 bananas a day, we know that it was like bananas were like a huge hit in this last group of the raw. Like, okay, now drop it down to like 1 a day.
Yeah,
you know, like if you did like 1 every day for breakfast, okay, maybe now do a half, right? So like we're talking about incremental like shifts. But the truth is, you guys, is that no food that came from Mother Nature is ever bad for you. Like, there's no such thing.
You can't eat too much though, and then like shit yourself, or
right. Like whether
create it.
Right, like, you know, whether it's gonna help you lose weight faster and whether it's healthy, that's a completely different story.
All right. Next question from Joy.
Joy Gadis. I wonder what that last name is. I wonder if it's Jewish. Anyways, it's a new name, so welcome.
Welcome, and thanks for asking your question. By the way, if you have a question you'd like to ask, then our wonderful, beautiful, fantastic Daniela Laprea will drop the link in the comments. Right, Danny? Can you drop the link in the comments, please? And you can submit your question there. Okay, this says, how can I get started on a fixed income? I know that once I lose weight, I can get my health in shape enough to get off the system. All right, I think I'm missing some things here.
I am too. I'm not sure I'm understanding the question.
So fixed income would be like, I think supported in my, I think it's from the government, a fixed income.
I think
I know that once I lose weight, like, is the fixed income due to a disability because of your weight? I'm trying to put the pieces together. No, I think it can be for different reasons. Pardon my, what's the word? Naive. I don't know.
Oh yeah, coupon payments.
I'm guessing it's some kind of a disability that if the weight is lost, there will no longer be the disability, and then the income will be able to work and no longer depend on the system.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm gathering here. So.
Oh yeah, Tammy Bell confirmed. Thanks, Tammy, and it's great to see you here, by the way.
Thanks for helping with that word, Daisy.
Okay, can we go back to that question?
Yeah. So
she needs to get her health status better so that she can start working and not depend on fixed income?
Right. But I think what she thinks is that she has to have money to get started.
No, you don't.
How can I get started on a fixed income, right? So the assumption is I have to have money to get started, but you don't. There's literally hundreds of videos on our YouTube channel. Here's the one thing that you do need though, commitment. We have stuff that can help people from literally free. This is free. You can show up to these free. You can watch any of our videos on our YouTube channel. There's even a workout program, something else that I wouldn't really recommend actually because it's not sustainable.
Right.
But we have free stuff everywhere. We do challenges that are free. If you're not
like the TKC coming up.
The TKC coming up. And then we have programs that are several $1,000s, just depending on where somebody's at. And so, you know, when you're doing something that is free, you need to make sure that you create some sort of accountability for yourself. So whether that means you're posting in the main Facebook group and being accountable to people there, if it's somebody in your environment that you are being accountable to. Make a plan for yourself for what exactly you want to achieve, and then work backwards to break that down, and then just think about the smallest increment that you need to achieve first. Um, a golden rule is, if your approach is not something that you would want to do for the rest of your life currently, then don't start there. So, it starts small. It starts these things like, we were talking about fast food. Somebody who eats fast food this morning, drop down from, if I eat fast food, 12 times a week, maybe I'll drop it down to 10 for a couple weeks, and then I'll drop it down to 8 for a couple weeks, and then I'll drop it down to 6 for a couple weeks, and get consistent at doing small things, because those really add up, and there's things that you could do for the rest of your life, right? It's not like you're jumping in an ice cold pool. It's like, oh, the water is closer to my body temperature, so it's not so hard to handle, right? And then as you're in the pool, the water progressively gets colder and colder and colder, but doesn't really feel any different because it's so incremental.
Yeah, what I would recommend, especially I can imagine that you probably have a pretty big, audacious goal, which is amazing. What I would recommend, if I was in your situation, is you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you literally need to immerse yourself in our content. Even if that means that you literally go through our videos, just marathon it. I know that plenty
Binge
of
watch.
People have done it in our community.
If you've binge watched Espresso with Aaron and Sarit, drop your favorite emoji.
And I share this with you because here's the deal. If you have a big goal, left to your own devices, you're gonna get to your default. So the more you immerse yourself, the more likely you're going to change your thinking. If for anybody who wants to improve their health, change their body, we have to change your way of thinking. And by the way, that's what makes us different with what we do. We help you to transform your body by transform the way that you think about a lot of things, basically everything. So do that, and then pick one thing that you know that you can stick to for 30 days. Just one small action. Big changes require small actions done consistently over time. So the first thing you gotta do is get us inside your head. Okay? And then what is one thing that, if I was to ask you, okay, Joy, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your likelihood of following through with this? And you're a 10 being 150% out of 100%. What is that thing? It needs to be your level of confidence needs to be so small so that if tomorrow there is an earthquake and your house is split into 2 parts, you can still do that one thing because it's so simple. Because here's the deal. Once we face resistance in life, we're going to get back to default. So the first thing that you want to do is you need to start thinking like us, because we've been training ourselves to do this for over a decade now. So to us, it's no thing. Okay? And the second thing that you need to do is you need to follow through with consistency. And consistency is built over time, and it takes one day at a time and one step at a time. Okay? So that's a great question, and I really hope that helps.
Sarit.
Yeah.
That was disgusting. Can't believe you did that. All right, let's go, Brooke. What class or certification or from which group would you recommend to someone who wants to do more/work in fitness? Okay, got it. If you were starting now, what is a good focus? And it's me. I'm the someone. I was
That's
waiting for
awesome.
the asking for a friend.
This is a really good question. So here's what I would recommend. So we started our journey as personal trainers. Knowing what I know now, I won't have started that. I mean, I will never take anything back because there were valuable lessons that, you know, unfolded with time. You know, the real question that I think you need to find out, Brooke, is not so much the what should I do, but what do I want out of life? Like, what is your primary aim out of life? Because if you want to help people, you know, like, if your goal, like, is to help people, okay, like, how do you want to help them? Because getting a personal training certification is only going to teach you, like, the principles of how to train someone. Is that the kind of impact that you want to make? And like, what kind of life do you want to live? So I think what I'd like to know is, what is your primary aim out of your own life, and how do you want to help people? If you want to help people by guiding them through workouts, then yes, you need to get a personal training certification. And good ones are NASM, ISSA, and CSF. Okay, you can start there.
NCSF.
NCSF, yeah.
It sounded like and CSF, so somebody could get confused.
However, if you're like, well, I want to do more than that, then, you know, like, those certifications, quite frankly, are not going to serve you. I think I know where you're going at, so, you know, I would love it if you can just get clear on your primary aim. And let's take it from there, because you guys, like, you know, the reason why we moved away from personal training is because we wanted to make a bigger impact. And as a personal trainer, the most amount of impact that you can make is on literally, like, maybe 20 people in a month. That is if you're, like, overbooked. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I know that for me, I wanted to impact more people. I wonder if Brooke responded back.
Would you like me to see?
Please. I have a full-time job, want to do a side something, but I'm not sure where to head. Nutrition, life coach, trainer. Okay, so that is what you need to figure out. That is what you need to figure out. And the question is, why do you want to do that? Here's the deal. When you do something as a side something, like, why do you want to do it? I ask you these questions because these are questions that I ask myself, and I share this with you because it's really hard to commit to something when you are sideways in it. That's just the reality of it. So get clear on, like, your life aim. Like, if money wasn't an issue, how would you want to spend your time on a day-to-day basis? And then it's just a matter of reverse engineering. I love the gym and think that that is my retirement plan. Okay, great. So NASM, NCSF, ISSA would definitely be great if you're looking to, you know, I can imagine you'd probably want to work at a gym. Just know that certain gyms require different certifications. So
all those are nationally recognized, though.
Yeah, I would just do my research, and, you know, depending on, you know, if you plan on, you know, just doing this you know, at a gym that is, you know, kind of close to where you're at. Just see what certifications they require. And also, side note, most gyms, as far as I know, would want to hire personal trainers as a full-time thing, because you're only going to be able to take on so many clients if this is a part-time thing. So
Don't discourage her.
I'm not discouraging you. You should follow your dreams and fucking do it, because life is more fulfilling when you follow your dreams. What I share with you is to do your research before you get a certification, to make sure that you can actually make it work, rather than get that certification and then, you know, not make it work. Like, make your investment worthwhile.
Because it is an investment.
Money, time, energy.
Yeah, all of it.
Right.
All right.
Great.
Michelle. Aaron, what did you do to your back? Did you auto dictate this? What did you do to your bank that twitted surgery? I think she's like, what'd you do to your back that required surgery? What kind of surgery? How long were you out of commission? Did the surgery fix the issue? How did it mess with you mentally, if at all? That is a loaded set of questions.
That is a great question.
All right. You guys, you know what? I'm going to share a story. I was so competitive in CrossFit at one point that I was at a regional level in a very competitive region. And when I was always nursing something, my wrist, my hip, my back, my shoulder, something. There was always something a little tweaked out. And, you know, I hurt my back several years before, and then I didn't really address it other than I did a little bit of physical therapy. I went back to work. I was a personal trainer at the time. And then I was running up. I thought I was good. I was running up the stairs 2 at a time. And then it kind of tweaked out again. And then took a couple days off. The first time I couldn't even get out of bed. And then this was way back in 2008 or 9 or something. No, 2010 or 11. And then I was good for a while. Bless you. Started doing, why are you snotting everywhere?
Because I do.
Started doing CrossFit. And I got really good at it. And then, my back started hurting to the point where I couldn't, it was pretty constant. And then I got to the point, we were together. I could hardly work out at all. I hardly worked out for almost an entire year. And what I did in that year instead was smoke a lot of weed and be sad about it. Truth. When was this? 2016? 2017? It was before we started our business.
2017.
2017. Yeah, because then I had surgery in 2018, right after we started. And then so we started Improve You in April 2018. October 2018, I had back surgery. But the whole year leading up to that, I couldn't really work out. I was really sad. I tried to pretend like I wasn't, but as an athlete and somebody who's been active most of my life, even though I wasn't always in shape, I've always been semi-active. And it was really hard for me to go from being very competitive to hardly being able to do anything. I couldn't sit and be comfortable. I couldn't stand and be comfortable. I couldn't sleep and be comfortable. Nothing was comfortable, and I just tried to numb it all away. So I just literally was high all day. And it doesn't feel good sharing that because it's not something I'm super proud of, but it's part of my story. And I had to learn. There was, I think that was probably one of the biggest years of learning for me. And patience was like the name of the game, and priorities. Patience and priorities. Because my priority to that point had been, win, compete, lift heavier, go faster, be stronger. And it changed to be healthy. And so I did get significantly better in my mindset in that period of time, like closer to the surgery, actually. And we had some conversations too about like, I never would smoke like the fire. I don't know, like that. I always vape it. But, anyways, we had a conversation about that. And I felt like it was just compromising other parts of me. And so I had to just face it. I had to just face it from like a real human level without numbing it. And I had tried everything first. I tried chiropractic, I tried cold laser therapy, I tried massage, traction, I tried
you got
E-stem.
And what was
I ended up getting an epidural. And the epidural, they were like, okay, basically if this doesn't work or last for, longer than a day, then you should talk to a surgeon. Okay, so it didn't last for longer than a day. So I was like, fine, I guess I gotta talk to a surgeon. I said, what is the thing that's gonna happen if I don't have surgery? They're like, you're gonna lose control of your left leg. I said, oh, I should probably have surgery. So there's a time and a place for it all. And I had what's called laser endoscopic spinal surgery, LESS, by Dr. Chol Kim, the greatest of all time. None of my bones have been compromised, and my back has been great. And I wake up stiff sometimes, depending on what I do for a workout, and I'm mindful of it now. But I can lift, I can deadlift, I can squat, I can do all the things that I could do before. I don't do them as heavy because it's not my priority anymore. And he is in Southern California. CHOLLKIM, Chol Kim. It is an investment that is 1,000,000% worth it. What they did, and I have the tiniest, I wonder if they can see this. What is it? Can you see? You can't even see my scar. Can you see it?
Let me see. And
it's like right here.
Yeah, you can't even see it. It's so tiny.
And I literally walked out of the hospital the same day with a Band-Aid on my back. A Band-Aid, like a Dora the Explorer. And so it's really incredible what they can do with technology. I have been great ever since, and I don't remember the rest. So it affected me mentally, yes. It affected me physically, yes. But with every adversity, there is a seed of equal or greater opportunity.
Amen.
But an opportunity has to be taken advantage of through action. So I had to consciously work on myself. And it was a blessing that did not feel like a blessing in the moment.
Yeah, you were in a lot of pain.
That was a very long-winded answer to your question, probably with some details that you didn't even need to know.
Hope that adds value. Yeah, you guys, like whenever you have like any problem to solve, work with a professional. The investment might be higher. It will be higher, right? But it's what result are you looking for? And he was absolutely the best. He's just like, had such an incredible reputation. And of course, it's a scary thing because you're, going under. And I remember that we went to every meeting together, and I just wanted to kind of know how I can prepare to support her as she's going through this and all of that. And I mean, yeah, they've done an amazing job.
It was so hard. I literally had to like sit like that. Like I couldn't sit on my, and he
You
walked
couldn't even
in.
walk. Like she would drag her, like imagine Aaron, right? And like,
dragging my leg behind me like fucking Quasimodo.
yeah, that's how you used to call yourself. I remember that.
Okay, but here's the deal. You know, injuries are one of those things that they just suck. They just suck. And it is something that, what was my diagnosis? I actually had a herniated, man, I saw the video the other day actually on
Facebook.
Yeah, memory. Yeah, and he took a video of like the surgery, obviously not like the whole thing, but there's a video somewhere of me walking into the hospital.
There is. I
like
remember
with
that.
a blanket, just like dragging my, literally like I was like waddling in, and yeah, there's something beautiful though about what we do and having the ability to create habits that keep you. I recovered extremely fast. Within 2 weeks, I was doing movement again. Like, I could, not with any weight, but I was doing movement again. Walked out of the hospital that day. I didn't gain any weight for the whole year that I hardly could do anything. And, you know, it was just kind of amazing to me. My body composition changed a little bit because obviously I wasn't lifting or doing any of that stuff, but I didn't gain any weight. Like, how amazing would it be if you, for some reason, you couldn't work out, but you knew that, like, you weren't going to gain weight? That is such a scary thing for people, is like, oh my God, I have to work out. I have to be able to work out. If I can't go running, I'm going to gain weight. And what we teach is so valuable because it gives you the tools and the habits and the discipline to know that regardless of what is going on in your life, there is a way to remain healthy, to continue, shaping your body to whatever makes you feel the best, the most confident, gives you the most courage. And it isn't the losing of the weight that makes you feel really good and confident and proud of yourself. It's the fact that you had to become a better version of yourself in order to achieve that. And that's what you're proud of. And then when you get to that point, it doesn't matter if you have an injury. It doesn't matter if you, you go out of town or you're traveling or something and you can't get your workouts in for a little while. You don't stress about it. You don't freak out about it because you have the habits in place that carry you.
Powerful.
So I want to encourage you guys, like, to continue to plug in to what we teach. Continue to show up, whether it's free programs, paid programs. Of course, we have the 8-week Raw Transformation coming up in a couple weeks. We have our Inner Circle program. We have so many things. And just keep plugging in and keep learning and get yourself to that point where you can, like, invest as much time, money, and energy as you need to get yourself to that point where it doesn't matter what happens in your life, you have the ability to overcome it physically and mentally because of what you've learned from us in this community and our coaches.
Amen. Yeah. For anybody who is new to our community, if you haven't yet signed up for the 5-day transformation Kickstart challenge, you need to. Danny, if you can drop the link, that would be great.
It's right there.
Oh, great. Awesome. And then, if you've been in the community for a while and you want a booster, or maybe just be a source of inspiration for somebody else, because you really believe in the message and these teachings, join it. Okay? I want to wrap this up by sharing with you guys, especially for the newbies the 3 tips that will help you to dominate in the TKC. So if you want to take the TKC seriously, I recommend that you write this down. Those tips are going to sound too simple to be true. Okay? Tip number 1, show up. I think when they sign up for the TKC, they can even add that to the calendar now, right?
Mhm.
So show up for the calls.
There's a link in the Facebook group too if you want to add the TKC to your calendar. There's a post that Lauren Waymeyer, you will see her name as, aka Eldub. She posted that link.
Yeah. So show up for the calls. So every call is gonna take place at 5 p.m. Eastern, starting on Monday.
And if you can't make it, watch the replay.
Right. That's where I was going to. So of course, if you happen to have a schedule conflict, or maybe with your time zone, it doesn't allow, that's totally fine. Just watch the replay. Like, that's what showing up means. You want to show up for the daily training each and every single day. Okay, so that's point 1. Point 2 is you want to engage. Okay, that is why you want to sign up through the link, so that you can get into this group where all of the action is going to be happening literally 24/7 beyond the time of, when we go live. Okay, because, every live, we're going to be, just giving shout outs to, a bunch of people who've been rocking it in the community. We are going to be holding you accountable. We're going to be teaching you something that's completely radical, and then we're going to be sharing with you the daily training. Okay? So, this group and this page is there for you to engage, so that, and you may wonder, okay, Sarit, how do I engage well? For one, if you're not the one to make posts, this is what I would encourage you to make, at least 1 post a day. And also, make it a point to comment on 3 of other people's posts. The more you give, the more you get. That's just how it is in life. A lot of you guys know how this works, and a huge part of your success has been due to the fact that you've been so plugged in, that your support system is so strong, so that when you're having a really difficult day and you're like, oh my gosh, Amy G, I'm about to go eat that half cookie, it's not even your coach, it's Amy is gonna call you right up and be like, what did you tell me last Friday, Gina? What did you tell me? Right? So sometimes it sounds different when you hear this from a friend, not just from a coach. And of course, all of the coaches are super plugged into this page. So, you will get their support, you'll get their assistance. They're going to be holding you accountable. So you want to make it a point to engage. And how do you engage? Make a post a day and then comment on 3 of your peers' posts. If you want to do more, Melissa Morgenthaler would, great, go ham. Her target is probably 300. But yeah, you guys, what makes this community special is that so many of you guys are so encouraging. And then, if you're uncomfortable doing something, just lean into it.
Do it.
Your intention should not be to be perfect in this challenge, because you might be exposed to some areas of opportunity. Now, how are you ever going to get better at something if you're not going to, fail your way up? So do it anyways, even if it's uncomfortable. Nothing in this challenge is going to be oh my gosh, jumping off a cliff. It's not going to be anything of that sort, but we are going to do things that are going to challenge you. So, if you're oh my gosh, I don't know, or I haven't done this in so long, do it anyways. You're going to surprise yourself, and you're going to see how much more you're capable of. And let me tell you something. Those are the moments that mean so much more than you jumping on the scale and seeing that you dropped 5 pounds. Because it gives you an elated level of confidence. The scale can give you a reaffirmation, but the scale never gives you more confidence. So that's just a thought. We really want to see you guys win. So really looking forward to seeing you guys on Monday. Erin and I are definitely going to be popping in strong on a daily basis to continue keep the party going even when we're not teaching live. So here's to you guys. Here's to you guys showing up. You know, we're heading towards the second half of this year, and this is the separator of the year, you guys. You know, like this is the separator where enough time has gone by throughout the year in order to, you know, compound maybe the mistakes that we've made, and so many people have either given up, or maybe you're like, you know what, like I've had so much shit happen this year, but like man, like I said at the beginning of the year, I want to end 2022 strong. So this is what this is all about. It's not about how strong you start, it's about how strong you finish. And there's no better time to do something for yourself than at the halfway point, because this is where you truly gain momentum, and results love momentum. Okay, so that's all we got for you guys today. We hope that you found value in today's conversation, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the TKC.
See ya.
Bye.